having a conversation with Priscilla B. Smith from Brisbane, Cloud9 Associates, Managing Director. How are you today, Priscilla?
I'm very well, thank you, Peter, and I feel privileged to be here. I was invited to this extraordinary discussion, which we only do, exclusively. And I am privileged. I am Priscilla B. Smith, tax agent, senior tax accountant with Cloud9 Associates. And Peter invited me to this discussion. He's our business advisory expert. So we are VIPs and affiliates with BIZTOOLS, and we are privileged to be that because it is amazing to be here, Peter.
Okay, so if we can also welcome the people who are watching this as a live feed on Facebook. I hope you enjoyed this session. If those people on Facebook have any questions, you won't be able to send them straight through to us. Please send me an email, peter@biztools.com.au. Those of you who are watching this as a live webinar, if you do have questions, please complete them on your computer and send them through to us, and we will answer the questions later on today. Obviously, if you're watching this later on, and I know some of you watch it at all sorts of strange hours, if you have questions then, please send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au. Okay, Priscilla, let's move into the program then, please.
Yes, today we are going to cover accountants' time to shine during COVID-19 crisis and beyond. Why is the right time for our accountants to shine at this point in time? Our time has come, and you're going to see why. And how we can become a trusted advisor, where our clients are looking for us. They are reaching out to us these days, and they expect us to become a trusted advisor. And then Peter is going to talk to us about, we're going to have an insight into the latest advisory package he developed. It is about the research and development, and he developed tools for us in SBizTools.com.au, in the SBizTools platform. There are thousands of resources and tools for us. It's a lifetime of expertise packaged in this platform. Feel free to help yourselves to it. There's thousands of resources. And today we're going to focus on research and development package, which was launched recently by you, Peter. Tell us more about that.
Okay, so let's start on the COVID-19 crisis and beyond. An interesting concept. Obviously, there's still a lot of problems out there in the business world. I was reading a report yesterday that the Commonwealth Bank believes there's still going to be 110,000 people on the unemployed list or coming off the JobKeeper program who will have trouble with employment. Obviously, a lot of businesses are caught up in that. It's going to be interesting to see what the government announces in the next couple of days as to whether there's going to be any specific support for businesses that are still in real problems, such as the aviation industry, accommodation, tourism. The Australian government has a special loan that's available through banks and other financial institutions. The Australian government is guaranteeing 50% of that loan. It's to be administered by the banks, but the banks have got to apply their normal lending criteria. Those funds are still there, and if you're interested, you can seek a loan of up to $1 million, repayable over 5 years at a low interest rate. But the process of being able to obtain one of those loans has finished by the 30th of June this year. So you need to start doing something about it now. And for our accountants, of course, you need to be talking to your clients about this. Do they need that money? And perhaps when you're
Yes, with
looking at
our
the,
challenge. Yes.
pardon?
Yes, sorry, keep going.
Perhaps when you're looking at the funding of your clients, you could also be giving consideration as to whether they need to be looking at capital raising. That's very possible these days through the crowdsourced funding equity raising. And another area that I think you could look at with your clients is in trying to revitalize their businesses, are they charging their team members out at appropriate rates, having regard to the overheads of their business, the productivities of their team members, their realistic profit expectations? Other charge out rates for tradies, manufacturing, and professional service firms, are they okay? Do you think you should check them? I think you should, and then set up a quarterly review meeting with the client to see how things are going. So that's some of the things you can do as part of the COVID-19 crisis. Unfortunately, until we get full international travel allowed back into Australia and we get rid of the state border shutdowns, some businesses are going to continue to have a lot of problems. And accountants, you've got plenty of work opportunities there helping those people.
Exactly, Peter. Our challenge is to help small business. And one challenge is that they are coming and approaching us for help. And they are asking for help, which they never asked before. So in that order, for us to actually help them, we will have to develop advisory skills. How can we become a trusted advisor? How can we help them to survive the crisis and beyond? And so we have to develop advisory skills, which this is our challenge. Challenges, they are approaching us, but as you said, we have to go out and approach them because we want them to succeed. We can't just let them go like that. And if we equip ourselves with advisory tools and skills, this is the only way we can help them. And so how? We are helping ourselves to as BIZTOOLS, tools which Peter developed in a lifetime. These amazing tools in there. This is the only way we can actually equip ourselves with the skills we need. And Peter is saying you don't have to reinvent the tools. He developed that for us. All the resources are in the ready available. It is a press of a button. And it's going to make it easy for you to shine during this time, and the clients, they're going to appreciate it. So our challenge is to equip ourselves with those tools and skills. Thanks, Peter, for helping us do that.
Yeah, well, Priscilla, I think accountants need to be proactive to help clients through these difficult times, not reactive, proactive. Don't wait for your clients to come to you. Use webinars and seminars to be able to communicate to your clients. Let them know that you're interested in an ongoing assistance program for them. I think you could act as if you were a medical practitioner and ask questions, understand what is concerning them in their businesses in far more areas than just taxation, and then describe to them your strategies as to how they should overcome those problems. Now, some of those strategies might be areas outside of your core skill levels. It could be in marketing. It might be in something to do with Fair Work Australia. We'll refer them on to other experts that can help them. And within ESS BIZTOOLS, we do have those arrangements with third-party people who can help your clients. They may need a new business plan, a budget, cash flow forecast, some predictive accounting. They may need to really get themselves geared up to be able to raise some capital or review all of their costings. But they need the accountants to be offering a proactive service to them. And if you do refer them to external providers, my suggestion is you act as a project manager. You monitor what's going on. You go with the client or participate via a webinar in the first discussion with that external advisor. So you can make sure that that advisor gets the briefing from you as to what the issues are, because the client mightn't explain them fully. And in all respects, I think you as the accountant have to be acting as if you were their chief financial officer. And if you were in a full-time basis, you would have a whole range of issues that are on your desk to organize on behalf of your client. So that's how I think accountants need to be delivering the trusted advisor status in practice with clients.
How we can achieve those skills, because not all of us, we have them. We will need amazing resources and tools which you develop for us. This is the key to it. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Don't spend months and months and years to become a trusted advisor.
Any madman like me do that.
Don't reinvent the wheel. Don't reinvent the wheel. His resources are just amazing and second to none in Australia. And when you go to that platform, you're gonna find. And also, Peter, you offering free trial at this stage. People to go and have an insight of your work. It is, in the moment I found it, this was 5 years ago, lucky that I had the time to equip myself with advisory tools since, but in the moment I found it, I never had to look back. And so we kept going, and I became an affiliate and supporting all these things. And I'm still amazed what I can find in there. And today we talk about your brand new package you developed and how you encourage us to actually use this package, because you made it easy for us.
Thanks, Priscilla. Yes, research and development has been on my to-do list for a few years. We traditionally have had a couple of papers in our system on research and development. But when COVID-19 hit and I started hearing about people in lockdowns and working from homes, I decided it was time to push the research and development product package to the top of our list, because I suspect that there are probably thousands of people around Australia who have spent time in 2020 and possibly still into 2021 tinkering, whether it's in their backyard shed or their farm shed or on their computers, and they're potentially developing some sort of new product or a prototype, something that they might be able to turn into a viable business or an asset that they can earn money from. So in other words, they're undertaking research and development. Now, what's this mean to an average small or medium-sized accountant? Because it's those firms that in the main utilize ESS BIZTOOLS services. We do have some top 100 firms as clients, and we do value them. But we started writing this package primarily targeting small and medium-sized enterprises, because I think you need to clearly identify that research and development is an activity that many people who undertake it are in fact very small business operators, and some of them are not even a business when they start. So that they are the traditional clients of small and medium-sized accountants. So why shouldn't you be servicing them? And incidentally, this is a taxation department product in conjunction with Oz Industry. I don't think accountants should be scared about it. It's a service, and we have designed a very comprehensive product package that will be updated and reviewed from time to time based on rulings and court decisions and just changes in government policy, so that you can give advice to your clients, so you can grow with your clients. So just to recap, a business needs to be a company to avail themselves of the research and development rebate. The company needs to have had a minimum expenditure of $20,000. That can include salaries and wages paid to the team, including directors, as long as the amount has actually been paid. And the ATO requires proof of that, especially for payments that are being claimed for directors. The rebate is 43.5% of the research and development expenditure. And a very big issue, which some people are still not aware of, is that if the company is trading at a loss, then the taxation office are able to make a payment of the cash equivalent of the research and development rebate. So for argument's sake, if the company had spent $1 million on research and development, and plenty do, the rebate would be 43.5%. If the company's loss was $500,000, the tax office will pay $435,000 in that case into the company's bank account within about 30 days after the tax return's been lodged, subject to the special box in the tax return asking for this to happen having been ticked. Now that's great for your clients because they are getting a cash injection to help them with their ongoing research and development operations. And believe you me, they continue to spend money, most of them do, that are involved in research and development, because they're always coming up with the next stage of the development. Our process is going to take you through the entire aspect, because we start with an idea, and the idea needs to be checked, and there's documentation so that you and your client will have the proof in 2, 3, 4 years' time, when you might get a tax review, as to what was done in the first instance. What made you think that this was going to lead to the creation of new knowledge? And how did your client go about doing research to see whether someone else had already done this by doing searches on prior art and prior literature? That basically means using the internet these days, and also making contact with some experts and getting their feedback. Now, some people whinge about the rules and this process and the record keeping. Well, unfortunately, that's the way research and development operates. The law has been put together on the basis that this is the government's understanding of how universities operate. They have an idea, a team, small teams formed, they submit a report to someone higher up the chain of authority, and they get approval to proceed. They then conduct a series of experiments to prove the hypothesis that they've established in the first instance, and they keep records of what's occurred. And they don't all have to be successful. I did have a phone call last year by someone who said to me, "Oh, we can't claim it because it wasn't successful." And I said, "I beg your pardon?" And he said, "Oh, we can claim it, can we?" I said, "Definitely." Because the government doesn't expect every R&D project to be successful. They just like to think that some of them are, so that Australia can benefit from the generous taxation benefit that we're receiving. Incidentally, the last published figures that I've been able to find, 2017-18, indicated there were 13,138 companies in the research and development program. And a significant number of them are SMEs, the natural clients of small and medium-sized enterprises. And the payout from the government was approximately $6.3 billion. Now, next week in this series, we're going to talk about the return on investment on research and development. But at this stage, it's a question that I think everyone should be thinking about, because you're undertaking research and development to create new knowledge, so that your client's expectation surely will be that they'll create something that they can turn into a product in their business, or they'll be able to sell to someone else. In other words, they will get a return. But next week, we're going to concentrate a bit more on how you dig down into that. How do you try to get some assurances? So that's how the research and development system works, Priscilla. We have built into the system a series of workbooks for the recording of all of the expenditure, because that's very important. So we start with the timesheets that people should be completing. We make sure that a project code is allocated to each research and development project. We suggest that you allocate work codes, so someone hasn't got to write 20 words to describe what they've done. It'd be far better to put P10 or some abbreviated coding system. And at the end of each month, the directors should be able to see what the progressive cost has been on their own labour, the consultants and contractors that they've engaged, and be viewing results from the experiments. There's also paperwork required or systems required for the documentation of each of these core R&D projects. Now, it might sound complicated, but we have broken it down into every component. We have developed 12 packages of flowcharts to guide accountants through the process. And once you have contracted with a client that you're going to advise them on research and development, you are then able to download onto their system a white label version of the product, which is nearly the same as what you will have access to as the accountant. But we've got a few other things in your package, but the client will have a package that you can badge with their name on it, because they are the organization that's got the prime responsibility in all this. You're advising them. We're going to keep you informed so you can be advising on a week by week, month by month basis to your clients. But they will have a system that enables them to record all of the information and to have a clear understanding of what this process is all about. So hopefully you can grow with your clients, because I think there's a trifecta of opportunities here for a lot of your clients. They start with research and development. They could then move, if they've got what looks like to be a good product, into the Accelerating Commercialisation grant program offered by the Australian government, a grant of up to $1 million on a 50-50 funding basis to take a prototype or an outline of a product into the marketplace, to get it out there, to commercialise it. And it costs a lot of money. That's why the government's offering $1 million on it, and that's only 50% of the overall cost. So the company could be spending up to $2 million. And where are they going to get the money from? Well, the government 3.5 years ago thought of this and created the concept of an early stage innovation company. So that's the trifecta. You could have clients working on research and development, accelerating commercialization, and then achieving the status of an early stage innovation company. And hopefully you're being the accountant right through this process. You haven't had to refer them on to someone else, because within ESS BizTools, we have all of the product packages to guide you through that process. So Priscilla, I look forward to working with accountants all over Australia to undertake this process to help their clients grow and shine, and the accountants will do exactly the same if they're helping them.
Well, I'm encouraging my peers, but with all these webinars, inviting them to this. I'm one of the privileged ones, which I'm already using it. Using your tools, they are amazing, second to none. And I did sit for the research and development training you provided for us. And then I could see the transparency of the tools, the easy of use, like it is so user friendly for us. Everything is made for us, as you said, white label documents, which we can just build in seconds, minutes, or something for them. And it is an amazing platform where I did learn quite a lot. And up until you help yourself to thousands of resources, it is a lifetime. And Peter did put a lifetime of expertise in them. You're gonna see it's priceless, Peter. It is priceless. I stress it out.
I'll up the price.
And it's priceless, like it has a price, but priceless, second to none in Australia.
Thank you.
I don't think they will ever find a match of your platform anywhere else. So for me, I am a happy, how you call this, shining accountant already. I hope whoever's watching this or whoever is gonna have a chance to come and have a look at your product.
Okay, so thank you, Priscilla. Can I just get a mention about our conversation next week? I'm joined by Peter Miller, who's a gentleman that I've known for many years, from 2001 to 2012. He and I were both business advisors for the COMET program, Commercializing Emerging Technology, which was conducted by Oz Industry. There were only 12 of us in Australia, so it was a small group, but we worked with companies who had developed new technology, who wanted to raise capital, because at that stage, that's what they had to do. We now have accelerating commercialization. So thankfully, the government introduced the accelerating commercialization program based on our reports and suggestions to them as the way to go. So Peter Miller is joining us because Peter is fanatic about companies should only be doing R&D if they are clearly looking at what the return on investment is. What's the end result? It's not just doing the R&D, it's the end result. And when I talked before about the trifecta, I'm on the assumption that a business won't be able to go into accelerating commercialization and then be raising capital as an early stage innovation company unless there is a very strong expectation there is going to be a return, because the company won't attract investors unless they've got that. So Peter Miller is joining me next week, and we're going to be looking at a whole range of issues relative to tracking the return on these investments and making sure that right from the outset, the return is very high on the list of what the company's trying to achieve. So to register for that free webinar, please go to www.essbiztools.com.au and click on to the webinar on next Wednesday, 17th of March at 11:30 a.m. AEST, 12:30 p.m. AEDT. So Priscilla, it's been great for me in joining you today. Thank you very much for preparing the PowerPoints and for your endorsement of our program. It's great to have one of our member subscribers with me when we're talking about this, because you're able to tell people what your work experiences are using our materials.
Well, I'm a happy accountant, and I'm already shining. I'm gonna see a client today about the very tools. I can use your tools today.
Very good.
So it is as easy as, for me, it's easy. So if you want to make it easy for yourselves, please come and help yourselves to the tools. You need them. This is the future. and the small business is going to need your expertise.
Okay, so thanks, Priscilla, and thank you everyone for watching. Please remember, if you have any questions, and I'd forgotten to check on chat, but I've got no questions, luckily, because I forgot to look. But so thank you very much for being with us today, and we will hopefully talk to you again next Wednesday. Priscilla, thank you very much for your
Thanks for having me,
contribution.
Peter.
Goodbye,
Thanks.
everyone. Thank you.